Hello, today I wanted to talk to you a bit about an emotion that I have and my experiences in trying to deal with it. This emotion is basically an anger towards women. It was there because in the past I felt controlled by women and feeling like I had to do what they wanted, and so when I went along with this, there was a build-up of anger and resentment at having to do what they wanted instead of what I wanted to do. And on top of that, I wasn't actually allowed to feel the anger at that moment. So the anger got suppressed and basically stored up inside my soul, and hasn't been released much until more recent times. So this denial of anger causes quite a few problems, and in the past I have engaged some sinful behaviour based off of the denial of anger, or based off of not owning this anger towards women that I have. So that's a pretty good reason to try and get rid of it somehow. So that's what I've been trying to do lately. I became aware of this problem and a variety of other problems over the past week or so, where I was spending a bit more time connecting with my emotions. And at first I thought that this emotion wasn't too important and I could leave it to later and focus on other emotions first. But I think probably God had a different opinion about what was a priority and what wasn't. And basically, by the law of attraction and various events that happened in my life that were triggering this emotion, it basically felt like, no, this is something that is quite an important thing that I needed to deal with. So I went ahead and tried to do that, and sometimes it can be a bit tricky to connect with emotions. So I wanted to talk a bit about how I went about connecting and staying connected to this particular emotion. So first of all, it's worth saying that if you don't want to feel an emotion, then you're not going to feel it. It's a matter of will, as far as I understand it. So the first criteria for feeling an emotion is you've actually got to want to feel it. But then on top of that, you may have inside your soul also some resistance to feeling that emotion. I know I have had some. So the question is what to do about that. So there are various techniques that you can use based on the body, like becoming aware of your body, and the various sensations inside your body can help you connect to your emotions, or at least in my experience it can. And sometimes you find that certain emotions are stored up in various places around your body. This particular one seemed to me to be centered around my neck for some reason. So by focusing on that, or like it might sound a bit weird, but even touching my neck, I kind of like that helped me to connect with the emotion. And another technique I used was just writing down, just expressing myself through writing on a random piece of paper, just writing how I felt. That also connected with the emotion. I wrote rage. I felt this real rage about this. But anyway, so those were some of the techniques I used to help me connect to the emotion and start to actually feel the emotion. Now, whenever I feel emotions, I often try to engage the law of forgiveness, because that helps you get through the emotions much quicker and more efficiently, and also it improves your relationship with God, I believe. So basically, the idea is, in my experience, is that once you're willing to feel an emotion and willing to go through it, you can actually open up your soul to God and engage the law of forgiveness, which means that God is actually able to remove that emotion from your soul so that it's no longer there. So by opening up your soul to God, you can become free of this emotional baggage in a much more economical way. Um, you don't have to connect to God to get rid of your emotions. You can do all the process by yourself as well, but generally I try to do it while connecting to God where possible. Now, with this particular emotion, it was a bit trickier because I had this false feeling of resistance that I wasn't allowed to be angry. Basically, this additional emotion was that I'm a good boy and good boys don't get angry, so I shouldn't be angry. And basically, this emotion was preventing me from connecting to God whenever I was in a state of anger. Made me feel that God wouldn't want to connect, or God would disapprove of me being angry, so that I wouldn't desire this connection with God. So I basically had to look at that and try to deconstruct it and change from the belief, basically change the belief in my soul from God doesn't want me to be angry, a good boy isn't angry, to actually God desires for me to experience my anger. And when I realised that, I was very happy that God actually desires for us to feel our own emotions, including anger, as long as we own them, and instead of projecting them at other people or being in denial of them, as long as we own them, then God actually desires for us to feel our anger, which is a beautiful thing. So I tried that, and that helped me a lot as well. So yeah, that's my experience with dealing with some anger. So I hope that was interesting. Perhaps you'll find some of my suggestions helpful, and thanks for listening.